first of all, what am I? I am obviously that which is aware of my experience. I am aware of my thoughts. I am aware of my feelings. I am aware of the sound of the waves and the sight of the sea. I am aware of the taste of tea. I am aware of the sight of this room. I am aware, I am aware, I am aware. It pervades all experience. It's ever present in all experience. Why it took me 20 years to recognize this simple fact, what I essentially am is simply the presence of awareness, I can't tell you. It was just the preparation that I needed. I was busy trying to still my mind, those kind of practices. So at some point first of all, this recognition presented itself to me very clearly. Simply, I am that which is aware of my experience. That with which all objective experience is known, but which itself cannot be known as an object. And it was so simple, it's so obvious. You don't need 20 years of preparation to understand that. You could say this to anybody on the street, and if they were open and willing to explore their experience, it doesn't need to take long. Then the second question, which was in some ways an inevitable follow-on from this first discovery, is, okay, what I essentially am is awareness, but what is the nature of this awareness? It seems to me to be located in here, doing the thinking, looking out through my eyes, in here doing the feeling. So the second exploration is not as straightforward as the first. The first is relatively simple. Yes, it is obvious that what we call I, what we have been calling I all our life, is that which is aware of all this changing experience. And it seems so obvious to us to begin with that this I, this aware being, this presence of awareness, is located in and shares the limits of the body. For instance, we close our eyes, we can no longer see the world. So we think, oh, in that case, it's obvious that whatever it is that is seeing the world must be located behind my eyes. I close them, I don't see the world anymore. So it seems to be perfectly logical to believe and, more importantly, feel that I lives in here, behind the eyes, behind the ears, in here, feeling. So this investigation into the nature of awareness or consciousness is another stage, or a second stage after the recognition I am awareness. And this took some time. It was over a period of a few years. When I first met my teacher, there was this very intense, I was involved with it, every spare moment I had. The exploration is, what is the nature of the knowing with which I know my experience? There seems to be evidence for it being temporary and finite. In other words, there seems to be evidence that it shares the destiny and the limits of the body. But when I look for that evidence, when I look at the non-objective experience of simply being aware, I don't find any objective qualities there. It's an undoubted experience. Each of us now knows that I am aware. So the experience of being aware is an experience, but it's a unique experience because it has no objective qualities. It's not like a thought or a feeling or a perception. And being without objective qualities, it has no limits, either in time or space. So what I'm describing now I'm describing it rationally. But the discovery is an experiential discovery that what I essentially am, the very knowing which is now knowing all of this experience, itself has no limits. And that is that is the freedom from the sense of limitation, both in time, that is the freedom from the belief I was born and I will die, and the freedom from the limits in space, that is, I am not finite, I am infinite. And the experiential consequence of this discovery is that I don't need anything. I'm complete. I'm full in myself. And so this puts an end to the sense of lack. So these two discoveries, I am not located in time, I do not appear or disappear, I was not born, I will not die. That puts an end to the fear of death. And this discovery that I am complete by myself, I, consciousness, don't need anything from the mind, the body, or the world. This puts an end to our sense of lack. And these are the two essential feelings that define the separate self, the fear of death and the sense of lack. And all the separate self, the imaginary separate self's activities are designed to allay the sense of fear and fulfill the sense of lack. That is what everybody who believes themselves to be a separate self is doing in their lives. So this recognition that what I am is ever present and has no limits, it provides a new basis from which to think, from which to feel, from which to relate and perceive and act. And that's the discovery. I am awareness. It's a discovery. It doesn't develop. I am obviously that which is aware. And then the recognition that which is aware has no limits is also it's a non-objective experience. It's a recognition. Oh yes, of course, it's so obvious. What I essentially am, the knowing with which I know my experience, is unlimited. That's a recognition. You can't go back from that. However, there is then another process, which is an endless process, which is how to live this understanding, this feeling understanding. How does that affect the way we think, the way we feel, the way we perceive, the way we act, the way we relate to other people? And this is the third stage, which really goes on forever. This colonization of the entire realm of experience. Thoughts, feelings, sensations, activities, relationships, perceptions. That's an endless process, and it's really the art of life, is to live life, all realms of our life, in a way that is consistent with and an expression of this understanding.